Hello everyone, welcome back to another quick tutorial on Windows Basics. We're going to go over personalization in this time, so let's get started. So first off, as you can tell, we're looking at my desktop here. This time I actually have icons on it. For some of you, these icons might be actually bigger or smaller depending on what your screen size is. One way that you can actually change how large the icons are is if you right click on the desktop, make sure you select an area without icons, go to View, and then you have these options. Usually it's either set to medium icons or large icons when you first install the operating system or you first receive it. As you can tell, mine are extra small, so they fit on the screen more. The next things you have here is auto arrange icons. So auto align them all the way to the left of your primary screen. So it would be over here and all the way down in the ABC order usually. Auto align to grid. There's actually a grid system, so like when I drag this, it locks into that grid. If I uncheck this, you'll notice that I can actually set it just midway. There's no grid. It doesn't snap into anywhere. And then the last option here is like whenever I show you some of the things that you can do on the operating system or on the servers is right here, show desktop icons. If I click that, all my icons disappear. Next option down here, all these are found by right-clicking the desktop. For those on a tablet, just hold your finger down and it'll open up the right-click window. You'll see a square box, let go, and it'll open this. Sort by. So here you go. You can sort by name, size, item type, date modified. So those are the few options that you can sort by. Most of these you'll probably just sort by name. It's usually easier in most cases. This refresh button is in case sometimes you'll add documents to your desktop. And it won't always be through just dragging it to your desktop like this. Oops, I can't drag. Like this. Instead, you went here to desktop and maybe you added a file. New file. See, in this case, my document actually instantly shows up down here. But sometimes your desktop won't refresh with the new document. As you can tell, the document's still there after I just deleted it. So if you go right here, refresh, and it's gone. Next thing then you have down here is paste. That's normal anywhere you go. You have your new. This is where you create your documents. I'm not going to go over that in this case, but I will go over screen resolution and personalization. So screen resolution is usually used if you have multiple screens or if one of your screens is smaller than it's supposed to be. When you open up this window, it'll give you whatever displays it finds. Depending on your graphics card, you might only have 2, you might have 1, you might have 4. It's all dependable on what you have plugged in and what's actually can be used. So in this case, I have 3 monitors, 4 if you count this one as being duplicated. Options that it gives you is display. So this allows you to choose which display it is. As you can tell, it highlights in blue, depending on my selection. Resolution. This is how many pixels can fit on that screen. Usually you'd go off the recommended. Recommended is usually the native for the monitor or screen or TV. Next thing, you have your orientation landscape. If I change this to portrait, it's up and down. That means it'll change this resolution so it's rotated. As you can tell right here, 1920 by 1080. If I go to portrait, it's 1080 by 1920. Another thing you can do is flip in case your monitor is all the way upside down. Same thing for portrait. Another nice functionality of this window right here is, as you notice, I have multiple screens. I can move my mouse to the right and it disappears. You guys don't know where it went. But if I move this monitor over here, and then I move myself to the right, and after I click apply, I won't be able to go over there. Let me move that back. Yeah, okay. And then the final option down here is extend this display. So as you can tell right here, this one actually doesn't say extend, it says duplicate. Because I have my monitor 1 and my monitor 3 actually showing the same thing. Right now we're on this monitor, so as you can tell, it's extending from the normal desktop. Next fun thing is sometimes this text will be extra large no matter what. You can change that by here. So select your monitor and click right here. This will allow you to choose from medium, larger. It's usually on small, but it can sometimes throw up on you. You can click right here, make sure it's small. Another option is go to custom, make sure that's at 100%. There's actually another way to do this, and on Windows 8, this is a little bit of hidden functionality. Let me click back here. And then the last thing you can do is, as you can tell, this text right here changes, depending on my screen. As you can tell, this right here says currently your main display. That means where your icons will default to in your taskbar. even though this is my default, as you can tell, I have no taskbar here. It's because I actually dragged it over. And in my previous guide on Windows 8 and the basics of Windows, it actually showed you how you can move that and change those settings. Okay, so the next option that you can find down here is personalize. This is where you change your desktop background, set a slideshow, use the default themes. One thing you will notice is that I have a synced theme and I have no custom themes. That's only because I set up a theme on one of my other computers and synced it over. This is a new functionality found in Windows 8, 8.1, and Windows 10. You have your default here. These are the default pictures that come with your machine, and sometimes you'll have like an HP one or a Toshiba one depending on which brand your computer is. Down here are the old contrasts in case you're colorblind or you have issues with specific colors or you can't read some things. These will help out. So at the very bottom here, as you can see, we have slideshow. That's actually just your desktop background, your color, your sounds, and your screensaver. So starting with the desktop background, you can actually check there. And as you can tell, it has my options selected. If I deselect to just one, I only have one background. But if I recheck all these by hovering over and clicking the top left corner, where it has the checkbox, saving my changes, it'll allow me to set it to a slideshow. And you can always re-guide to where you want your pictures to be. Right now I'm in a synced folder, as you can tell. So it doesn't show you all my wallpapers. I can change it to a different library here if I needed to too. You don't have to select all of them. You can just leave it where it's like that, so that one will never show up. Okay, then you have your color here. This color actually refers back to your taskbar. Let me unlock it here. Oop. So this taskbar right here, this is this color that you would be changing. So as you can tell, the color intensity changes as I move this bar. And that changes the window border and the taskbar. You can actually change the color and then change its intensity if you really wanted to too. Sounds, these are like the default sounds of when you get a notification on top right. Not just notifications. Give me 1 second here. Oop, there we go. Alright, so as you can tell, this is the sounds that you get for notifications, if a program opens, if an error occurs, or you can't click something when you have a pop-up because you're not clicking the pop-up, instead you're clicking the back window that forces the pop-up in front of you. You can find all the sounds here. If you don't want any sounds to appear, you can click no sounds. You can also download WAV files that you can replace these sounds for. As you can tell, there's a lot of sounds in here, so customization is quite there for this part. And then last thing, you have your screensaver. This is, the normal timeout your screen's going to be at. As you can tell, I have no screensaver set. My screen just instantly goes black after 15 minutes. But you can change it, and it'll show you the default, so you can change settings. And this is like if you want text. And once you set on a screensaver, you can set a wait time. So if I set to like 4 minutes, if I leave my computer for 4 minutes, it'll instantly just kick in, show that, until I set my settings for my screens to turn off. In this case, it's 15 minutes. So it'll go 4 minutes, screensaver will kick on, another 11 minutes, and then my screen will be turned off. Another option right here, as you can tell, on resume, display logon screen. For those that have passwords on their user, usually you don't want other people getting into your account, so you would always check this. So when it goes to screensaver, and it sits at the screensaver, so if somebody moves your mouse so it goes back, it'll actually bring them to the login screen. From that login screen, they have to retype in the password. And it's a great security. It's used mostly in companies too. Policies are always there. So that's the personalization of your actual desktop. Now the next thing you can do is, like I said, let me go back here real quick. You see here my synced thing on Windows 8 and 8.1 that's been added along with Windows 10. But since I'm on 8, I'm going to show you how those synced things come over. So what I'm going to do is go to the top right here, open up settings. You can see down here it says change PC settings. And click here. So now I'm on my change PC. What you have is your OneDrive, PC and devices accounts. From your account, you can make sure you're signed in with a Microsoft account. So in this case, my Microsoft account is set to a specific email. Then you have your OneDrive. This is where all your major files are stored. Okay. So we're going to go to PC and devices. And you can see this is my lock screen. This is actually a synced screen across. You also see these extra functionalities. So well, this right here is what can take over. So where does it find my pictures? It finds my pictures because I set it to this program. I can remove that and add a different folder if I wanted to. It allows it to play a slideshow. Since I set it to slideshow, I set it to one of my picture folders, so it actually rotates pictures, as you can tell by this icon right here. I can also include my camera roll. So in case you're on like a laptop or a tablet, you might take pictures with your camera or the camera app. You can set this in here and it'll auto sync those into the slideshow and on your PC into your OneDrive. You can make sure, since all my screens are 1080, you can actually force it where the picture has to be at least 1080 or bigger, and that means best fit. And it has to have the same 16 by 9 or 16 by 10 depending on what your screen is. 4 by 3 also. And you can also force it to show an activity here. I'm not going to go into the details on that. These small apps right here are these what can have notifications on your locked screen. As you can tell, I have the mail app, calendar, alarms, Skype, and Hyper. Apps that can display details. This is the major one. It's my calendar, so I know what events are coming up. And then you can actually, this is a nice functionality for tablets or laptops, especially laptops that can form into tablets, is if you turn this on, what it means is when it's at the lock screen, where it shows you these little pictures here.
Yep.
Where it shows you these pictures here, what will happen is you can drag from the top of your lock screen, drag it down, and you'll be able to get to your camera app. And then you can also change your display in here. And as you can tell, this is the other way that you can change your font size. Make sure that's set to smaller if you want it at 100%. And last but not least, you can also change the timer. I've been talking about how my screen turns off after 15 minutes or so. That's under the power and sleep options here. As you can tell, when you're plugged in, turn off after 15 minutes, and when plugged in. In this case, since I'm on a desktop, I don't have when I'm unplugged or when I'm on battery or when I'm on AC. As you can tell, my computer never goes to sleep. What sleep does is bring your computer into a lower use of power, allowing you to be able to click the mouse to turn it back on all the way. Depending on what type of sleep mode you set it into, you can also you might have to hit the power button and it'll kick it back up and it'll say coming from hibernation on Windows 7, Vista, and XP. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a comment or like below. If you want to keep up with all activities on the channel, click subscribe. And if you would like to watch another video, there's some videos listed down below here. And thanks for watching.